Minimalism. I'm here to talk about minimalism and how do you start to minimize your life? How do you take everything from your living room to your kitchen, to your dining room, to your bathroom, to your bedroom, to your car, and condense it down? There is a way, and it takes time, and it's about how you want to change your life, and it's a choice. It may not suit everybody, and that's the balance of the world, but in the case that you do want to start simplifying your life and making it easier to identify what you need and what you don't need, and what is really going to bring to you the greatest good, and sometimes less is more. So basically, the beginning for me and how I started in this path, and the reason why I'm going to give myself the title minimalist, and I'm not an extreme minimalist, I just believe that we can live with less and have happier lives. Years ago, I had lost both my parents. When I was 12 years old, I lost my father to cancer. When I was 27, I lost my mother to heart failure. When my mother passed away, I had been storing things in her house from my childhood, from the time I was 3 to 27. I had photo albums of friends from elementary school, the middle school, the high school. I'm a very crafty person, so I put a lot of love and energy into those photo albums. I had all my teddy bears since I was growing up as a little girl. I had all my art projects. I had all my pencil collection, my pug collection, all these things that meant something to me, that identified me to who I am, and that was very important to me. Material objects are very important, and that's what you're kind of taught in this country, I believe. And at that time, I felt very strongly about those objects. So after my mother passed away, and we were taking things from her house, and I decided, I was in a relationship, that I was going to end that relationship, and I was going to move down to Texas and start a new life there. And I decided not to bring all those items with me in my mother's house, because I didn't want to wait for the winter blizzards to come in and work another 3 months and then move in the middle of February or March. I didn't want to deal with the pain of staying, so I decided to rush and to leave, and that was the best option for me. So in my own home that I had at the time, I had like a handcrafted cabinet that my father had made with his bare hands, in my grandfather's woodworking shop that he had, that my grandfather bought for him. So I had these items in both of these places that meant a lot to me, and I had to leave them all behind. I had family members store my items for years, and then sooner or later they had changes in their lives, and we had to decide that I had to part with it or they had to move it somewhere else. So all the burdens and the weight that was put onto me emotionally had caused stress, and those were heavy burdens to carry. I didn't want to lose my items. Everything meant something to me. I wish I still had those items, but through that process that I was kind of forced into because of the circumstances of death and the way that I decided to deal with it and to move forward, I lost a significant amount of everything that belonged to me from the age of 27 to the time I was 3 years old in that time duration. So it took a lot of processing and many years to realize that that was okay. And then I had found out about Buddhism and the art of detachment, and I started to identify with that and realized, well, hey, maybe that wasn't so bad after all. I really did clear some weight off of my shoulders. I guess I didn't need all those things, and the things that did mean a lot that I still wish I had, I just try to hold those memories more dear then, since those memories are more fond in my mind. So I've grown, and that was the beginning of my minimalism. I just didn't know it at the time. So as I moved forward into the art of detachment, I tried to process and reason about what to buy and if it was important and if it served a purpose. Having a child and being in my 20s at the time, I still just kind of wanted to buy and do things for my art projects and decorate my house, and my son needs this and he needs new clothes and I need a new dress, and you know, the next thing I know, our closets are full, we have toys everywhere, and I'm beginning to be stressed out because there's stuff everywhere. So once I realized that now I have replaced all this space with new things, that I found myself trying to declutter. And then that was a stress because I had to spend time to declutter. So I keep realizing that there's this stress, for me at least, that comes around having too many things. Then I have to balance, well, what's appropriate for each person. And, you know, I've come to terms with that. So now that I've practiced the art of detachment and letting go of the pain of losing materialistic objects and items, I've come to terms with, I'm at peace. I find much peace in emptiness. I find peace in having only a few things and being able to see clearly around my space. I appreciate and I value the things that I have more, and then I know that the objects that I put there were put there for a purpose, and they actually have more meaning. And it's just one object. It doesn't have to be 15 all jumbled together like a bunch of knickknacks. And it's okay if you do that, and it's okay if you don't. But this is how I feel a lifestyle could be and could benefit many people. So with that being said, the art of minimalism and where I want to grow in this pursuit, because I feel it is becoming a lifestyle. So I've been watching documentaries on other people's perspectives of minimalism, and I do agree. A lot of the documentaries that I've seen, and which is making me and inspiring me to do this series myself, is that a lot of them were talking about how they were high-level executives in their companies or had six-figure digits in their income, and I don't at the time. I have a 4-digit income, and it's below the number 3, and I don't even equate that every month. So being a single mother in a very progressive city, when I have a lot of ambition and determination and the drive to do better, but not necessarily the financial support behind it, is diminishing my resources. And I still feel that there is a path for me, though, and this is just part of me kind of stumbling and bumbling up the mountain. So as a minimalist, what I've realized now is, from the documentaries that I've seen, they talk about how they had money and then decided to change their lifestyles to be more financially free and to have less. But I'm trying to figure out, how do I take my life and rise it up from the bottom? I'm comfortable with the ways and the means of my life, but I do need more. And by spending less, I'll save, of course. By practicing, I'm assuming this is going to be the way, since if I'm only making an hourly amount, I don't have the ability to say that I can do this in the next few months. I don't want to use limiting language. That is something that I'm changing in my life, and I think this also comes with the lifestyle of minimalism, as you become more aware, and awareness needs growth. So I think practicing proper language without self-limiting suggestions or self-limiting suggestions to others is very helpful. So be mindful of how you speak. Maybe speak less and listen more. Also, to be grateful and to acknowledge what you have and be present in the moment, and to be kind and grateful and have acceptance from others as well. Don't deny the positive things in your life, even if you feel apprehensive or resistant to do so. Just accept them. The law of attraction, I believe our thought vibration really has an effect on how our frequency interacts with other people in the world.